Having a great time here in Nova Scotia. I can't speak enough about being here. Lockport is the town that you see behind me there. We've got beautiful cottages here, and accommodations are amazing. You can see all the cottages just to my left over here. And I think one of the main attractions is this beach. Look, we've got low tide. Look how beautiful this beach is. I'm surprised there isn't anybody walking it because there's usually people walking back and forth. But what I'm doing right now is I'm going to clean some fish, and I'm going to show you how we clean these pollock. So this is a pollock. It's one of the bottom fish that are common here. You'll notice that the pollock doesn't have any barbels like the cod do. The cod have those little whiskers there. Also, their mouth is much narrower and tapered, where cod has a much wider head. And you can see that color-wise, they're very light in color. So what I'm going to be doing, because I'm taking these back to Ontario, I'm going to be coring them. So all I do is make a cut. I start down here, and this is one of the easiest ways to clean fish. I'm literally going to be taking the heads off, gutting them. So I'm keeping the cleithrum. So this bone, just so you know, that's right here, is called the cleithrum, right there. So I'm leaving that there, and I'm just going to do this here. I'm going to take the insides out. Notice I'm wearing a glove, and the reason I'm doing that is because I hurt myself and I don't want to get anything in my cut. So I'm going to take the guts out all the way to the head, and then I'm going to take the knife down right where the body meets the head, and I'm going to separate it, and that's it. This fish is going to be rinsed off, but look at, I've cored this piece of pollock, and you can see that they've got beautiful, it's almost like a translucent flesh. I'm going to be rinsing that in a while, and I'm going to be freezing them in bags like that. A couple of reasons. One, I love to fry these fish in a pan. I don't need to fillet them. Two is when you freeze the whole body core like that, instead of cutting fillets, once it's frozen, it's going to stay frozen, because we got about an hour and a half flight back, 2 hours to Halifax, about 3 hours back to where we live, close to Kingston. So the fish are going to stay fresh. And you can see that they've got very small scales. So you don't have to worry about scaling them, because you can actually eat them. They're soft. And I love eating the skin. This is a good sized mackerel. A lot of the mackerel are smaller that sometimes you'll catch from shore and so on. So this is an Atlantic mackerel. I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm just going to core it. So I'm going to just cut in between those pelvic fins. I'm going to cut right here to separate the body from the head. I'm going to take the insides out. I'm going to do a better job when I get to rinsing them. Right now, I just want to do the main job. So I'm kind of like assembling a pizza here. There, I've done that. So the mackerel will have a darker flesh. You can see, it's got a little bit of blood here, but you can see that the flesh is darker. It's not black, but it's definitely darker. One thing that I love about the Atlantic mackerel is that they're rich in oils that are very good for you, like omega-3s. I love the flavor. These are very similar mackerel to the ones that we ate a lot when I was in Croatia growing up from the Mediterranean. A lot of times we would do them on the grill. And if we do them on the grill, sometimes you do them whole, but the other way we do them is we just take the knife, and I won't do it now, but I'll demonstrate. You split it in half, right down the middle. So it's kind of like filleting without taking the fillets off. So just have the rib cage, you won't have the backbone. On the other side, you'll have the backbone and the rib cage. And then they're just done as 2 halves on the grill. And you put your seasoning on. One of the best ways that we like to have the mackerel when we grill them is to just use salt and pepper, and then we dice up garlic. Once the mackerel is cooked to our liking, we'll put the garlic on there, and we'll drizzle a little bit of olive oil, and we actually use vinegar, a little bit of vinegar, and also some parsley that's diced up. And a lot of times, if the fish isn't all consumed when it's freshly cooked, we put it in the refrigerator, and it tastes amazing, even like 1 or 2 days later, even cold. And you can make sandwiches out of it and so on. But the mackerel, when you get mackerel this size, Atlantic mackerel, they're amazing eating. And for the size of the fish, you get quite a bit of meat. So you know what, if you come out here to Nova Scotia, I would really encourage you to try some of the fishing.